always from the heart of the city. And now, on demand, 24/7 on the CHFI website. This is the soundtrack to an open mind. And I'm Don Jackson, around the world on the internet. It ought not to be so open that there is no keeping anything in or out of it. It should be capable of shutting its doors, or it may be found a little drafty. Samuel Butler commenting on an open mind. This hour, an open mind, a beginner's mind, with Lovers and Other Strangers, from iTunes and CHFI.com. John Mayer with No Such Thing, and Jason Mraz and I'm Yours. I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers, from iTunes and CHFI.com. Shunryu Suzuki from Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, published by Weatherhill, wrote, and I quote, "In Japan, we have the phrase Shoshin, which means beginner's mind. This does not mean a closed mind, but actually an empty mind and a ready mind. If your mind is empty, it is always ready for anything. It is open to everything. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few." The author Suzuki from Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, published by Weatherhill. Lovers and Other Strangers, from iTunes and CHFI.com. Jacksoul demonstrating an open mind and still believe in love. And Steve Winwood, while you see a chance, take it. I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers, from iTunes and CHFI.com. I've always found that an open mind helped in putting this program together. I'm always open to new suggestions from listeners, as well as find that I'm constantly learning something new while doing the research for the show as well. Victor Weisskopf, from The Privilege of Being a Physicist, published by W.H. Freeman, wrote, "People cannot learn by having information pressed into their brains. Knowledge has to be sucked in, not pushed in. First, one must create a state of mind that craves knowledge, interest, and wonder. You can teach only by creating an urge to know." Lovers and Other Strangers, from iTunes and CHFI.com. Dobie Gray and Drift Away. Linda Ronstadt with Aaron Neville, Don't Know Much, and Beyonce, and If I Were a Boy. I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers, from iTunes and CHFI.com. Donna Markova, the author of Open Mind, wrote, and I quote, "I will not die an unlived life. I will not live in fear of falling or catching fire. I choose to inhabit my days, to allow my living to open me, to make me less afraid, more accessible, to loosen my heart until it becomes a wing, a torch, a promise. I choose to risk my significance, to live so that which comes to me as seed goes to the next blossom, and that which comes to me as a blossom goes on as fruit. Donna Markova, the author of Open Mind, Lovers and Other Strangers, from iTunes and CHFI.com. Kelly Rowland with Unity, Leona Lewis, Happy, and Natasha Bedingfield, Unwritten. I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com for November 25th, 2009. I found this in the 1990 edition of the Friendship Book of Francis Gay, published by D.C. Thompson and Company. It is A Recipe for Life by Miriam Ecker. A little human kindness, some tolerance and trust, a wish to help another, a love of all things just, a certain sense of humor, a very open mind. That's a recipe for life that anyone can find. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Chantal Kreviazuk, Keeping an Open Mind in All I Can Do, and Celine Dion with a little kindness in some small way. I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. This was sent to me a long time ago via email. Its author is unknown. And I quote, I have a friend who lives by a 3-word philosophy. Seize the moment. Just possible she may be the wisest woman on this planet. Too many people put off something that brings them joy just because they haven't thought about it, don't have it on their schedule, didn't know it was coming, or are too rigid to depart from their routine. I got to thinking one day about all those women on the Titanic who passed up dessert at dinner that fateful night in an effort to cut back. From then on, I've tried to be a little more flexible. How many women will eat at home because their husband didn't suggest going out to dinner until after something had been thawed? Does the word refrigeration mean nothing? How often have your kids dropped in to talk and sat in silence while you watched Jeopardy on television? I cannot count the times I called my sister and said, "How about going to lunch in half an hour?" She would gasp and stammer, "I can't because..." Check one. I have my clothes on the line. My hair is dirty. I wish I had known yesterday. I had a late breakfast. It looks like rain. She died a few years ago. We never did have lunch together. Because Americans cram so much into their lives, we tend to schedule our headaches. We live on a sparse diet of promises we make to ourselves when all the conditions are perfect. We'll go back and visit the grandparents when we get Stevie toilet trained. We'll entertain when we replace the living room carpet. We'll go on a second honeymoon when we get 2 more kids out of college. Life has a way of accelerating as we get older. The days get shorter, and the list of promises to ourselves gets longer. All we have to show for our lives is a litany of I'm going to, I plan on, someday when things are settled down a bit. When anyone calls my seize the moment friend, she is open to adventure and available for trips. She keeps an open mind on new ideas. Her enthusiasm for life is contagious. You talk to her for 5 minutes, and you're ready to trade your bad feet for a pair of rollerblades and skip an elevator for a bungee cord. My lips have not touched ice cream in 10 years. I love ice cream. It's just that I might as well apply it directly to my hips with a spatula and eliminate the digestive process. The other day, I stopped the car and bought a triple-decker. If my car had hit an iceberg on the way home, I would have died happy. Now, go on. Have a nice day. Do something you want to, not something on your should-do list. Unquote. It's author unknown, a writing called Seize the Moment. I hope you will tell all your friends about Lovers and Other Strangers. I'm Don Jackson from iTunes and CHFI.com. Good night, sweet dreams. I'm Don Jackson.